Hi folks, Jim here from JBuda.net, and welcome to my first video in my shop. Anyway, the reason I'm making this video is to make a rig to shoot overhead so I can make more videos in my workshop. As you can see from this video here, I have very little room in the shop, and so the use of a tripod becomes difficult. Okay, so as you can see, here's my shop. It's rather small. I guess this is going to be a walkthrough of the shop. Just finished building that little shelf there for some storage. Here's my charging center. Clamp rack. Additional storage cabinet. Ryobi table saw. This is called a central vacuum. Not really, but what happens is my vacuum goes through this inch and a half PVC with this flexible fitting here, and then I can plug this into various devices, equipment as I need it. There's an extra device. So basically the vacuum is outside of this room. Jigs. And you can see I only have about, 3.5 feet between workbench. And this is a router table. Miter saw, which also goes across the miter table, and my drill press. Oops, keyboard. It is supposed to be up here. More storage. Air compressor up there. Give it space. So you can see I don't have a lot of room, and definitely don't have a lot of room to take videos. So that's why we're going to be making a overhead holder for overhead shots. The thought struck me, if I could do something for overhead, then it might make life a little easier for me. So in this video we're going to take this, and this, and hopefully turn it into this. So why don't you come along with me? Let's get started. So here I have my wooden screw clamp, the hardware I need, and of course the monopod, which I had bought earlier. Now the pipe clamps I'm using are also called Mineralac or Minis. They were made by a company called Mineralac, and we call them Minis. This is back from the electrical trades. They come in different sizes indicated by the numbers. Number 0 is a 1/2 inch, number 1 3/4, number 2 1 inch. These sizes are for conduit, but conduit is measured by inside diameter, so therefore a 1/2 inch conduit thin wall is actually 7/8, and these hangers are more for heavy wall. So they don't quite fit right on thin wall, and they're a little loose here on this monopod because it's not exactly the right size. But there's a workaround. These are tap-in screw inserts, furniture inserts they call them. I'm going to put 2 1/2 inch on one side of the wooden clamp, and then 2 number 2s or 1 inch clamps on the other side. This will be for the larger portion of the monopod, which is closer to a 1 inch rather than the 1/2 inch. Something like that. Now here I'm wrapping a little tape around. I'll do it on all the minis, but this will take up a little bit of the slop I was telling you about, and also eliminate scratching the monopod. Now I need to lay out the center lines on the clamp and the locations for the minis. Of course, this is at 3 times actual speed. I wish I could work this fast. Now I'm also going to put minis on the back end here. I'll show you why later on in the video. But my thought was if you wanted to mount this to a horizontal plane like a workbench, tool bench, desktop, handrail, it'd make a nice holder for the monopod and your camera. And of course marking all the center points. And moving on to the drill press, we'll set the depth and drill out our holes for the threaded inserts. Now because of the height of the actual wood clamp, I couldn't drill out the back ends, so I will drill those out using a hand drill. Electric drill, I'm sorry. And of course the battery runs out, so I had to switch batteries. I'll measure the depth, get an idea. It's not exact. And basically they have little barbs on these threaded inserts, so you just pound them in, it grabs onto the wood, and it's not coming out. You have to drill these out. Now I did not have enough of the tap-in inserts, so this last one is actually a threaded insert. It has, rather than little barbs, like threads on it, and you use a Allen key and you screw it in. They both work very well, so I have no preference for either one. I just had to use this one in the last hole. Okay, now I could not get 3/8 or 1/2 inch 1/4-20 bolts at the Big M. Naturally, they never have stock, or never have what I need in stock. So all they had were these 3/4 inch, and they're obviously going to be too long. So I'm going to have to cut them down using my Dremel tool on a flexible shaft and a cutoff wheel. I love this Dremel tool. It's a very old one, but boy do I use it for many woodworking projects. I did screw on a 1/4-20 nut before I started cutting. Now you clean off the ends and then you back off the nut, and this basically cleans your threads and gives you a nice clean cut that makes it easier to screw into your threaded inserts or tapped holes, whatever you're using it on. And so with the 2 1/2 inch minis attached to the screw clamp, you can then take the bottom tube of the monopod, which in our case would be the top end, and tighten that into the minis. Now the minis come with a square hull, so they come with carriage bolts, 1/4-20 carriage bolts, the square head. And then I substituted a lock washer and a thumb screw instead of the 1/4-20 nut that came with it. This way I don't need any special screwdrivers or wrenches to tighten anything. So if I'm on the job setting up the camera, or on a remote location, I don't have to worry about a screwdriver or anything like this. It's a one-handed operation. There you go. Of course I have to make an adapter for the bottom so I can turn the camera right side up, thinking a U-shaped aluminum. Here it sees how easy it is just to clamp it onto your joists. I have a very tall basement. It's about 8.5 feet in the basement. And you can see I can get different heights, so I can shoot high or bring it down and shoot low. Much like a submarine telescope here. And this is showing how you can use this then on a horizontal surface like I was talking about. In this case would be the desktop, so if I wanted to shoot something, workbench top, if I wanted to shoot something along the surface of the workbench or table saw, or drill press, or miter saw, or router table, whatever. I can clamp it onto that. And of course you can clamp it onto deck railings and stair railings and trees, I guess, whatever you can think of. The wooden screw clamp is very adaptive because by adjusting the two different bolts you can get different angles on your tightening. So it's very good and very adaptive for clamping onto irregular shaped objects or surfaces. And there you go. Nice sturdy adaptation for your camera. Thanks for watching, and check out my website at jbuda.net for other little tidbits and links to different videos I have. Have a great day.